Critical Role Recap Season 2, Episode 28. So last week's episode ended with the Mighty Nine and their two new recruits investigating the Iron Shepherd's holdout that they have out in the forest. We're making plans to try and pick them off one at a time or sneak in there when Keg accidentally crashed to the ground in her full plate armor, so they took off running to avoid detection. However, they had successfully scouted out the entire compound and had a really good idea of the layout of the building, of the main floor in particular, as well as the location of where the prisoners are held, and a little bit of the top floor as well. They decided to follow up on the lead that they had been given about some sort of healer who lived out in the forest, and maybe they could seek some help there. So they end up traveling to this shrine in the middle of the forest that looks like it's been, over the years, subsequently taken over more and more by the outside corrupted forest. But it is this little nirvana inside. It's almost like a swamp here inside this very northern wintry forest, where the temperature itself gets warmer as they get closer to the center. There are more swamp-like trees and plants, and there's a higher humidity. And this shrine / graveyard is where we end up meeting Taliesin's new character, Caduceus Clay, who is a Furbolg cleric and is described as big white Furbolg, but with a shocking hot pink mohawk. Mr. Clay is a bit of an oddball in his personality. He has been alone for quite some time, it seems, and just kind of tending graves and making tea, using the bodies as compost for those graves. He hasn't been in touch with other humans or humanoids for a while, so he's a bit odd, but he readily joins them and says that he was kind of hoping someone might come by and escort him out of the forest anyway. So he happily joins them with no offer of payment or any talk about that. He just kind of joins up with them, and he hints at maybe possibly like kind of, I'll do you guys a favor, and maybe at some point later on you guys will do me a favor. So after Caduceus joins the Mighty Nine, they are back up to 6 members, which is a relatively strong fighting force, and some of them are feeling pretty confident that they now have enough members to try and go infiltrate the grounds. They make their way back there and set up a plan. They manage to take out the 2 guards on the walls silently without any notice, and Caduceus and Bo take the cloaks and don the appearance of being these guards and continue patrolling the walls. The rest of the Mighty Nine make their way to the back door, and Caleb uses Frumpkin, who he's now turned into a spider, to go ahead and scout out the building. They get a good idea of where most of the people are and start to ingress and make their way inside. After they get inside, they send Knot off to try and sneak through and to discover some more stuff for them while the spider continues to look around. However, Knot rolls a natural 1 in her stealth check, and the guards are immediately alerted to their presence. So directly after the break, halfway through the episode, a fight does break out, and most of the rest of the episode is spent in some form of combat. There are 2 more hired mercenaries inside the compound that they fight with, as well as the barbarian woman shows up and engages them in combat. They manage to take out all 3 of these without too much harm coming to them. Caduceus and Neela can both heal them, so they're pretty safe anyway. After they take out these 3 combatants, they wait around for a little bit to see if anyone else is coming, but they start making their way towards the trapdoor to get down to where the captives are being held. There are some traps and many locked doors on their way, but they manage to make their way down without blowing anyone up. They use Frumpkin as his spider form again to scout out the lower area under the trapdoor, and they find that there is another hired hand there waiting, expecting someone to come through because they've heard the noises upstairs, as well as 2 of the members of the Iron Shepherd, the halfling rogue and the spellcaster. So not Lorenzo. They're still not sure where Lorenzo himself is. He might be upstairs. He might be deeper inside the cellar area where they haven't completely explored yet. They go down with Caduceus still disguised, using his Furbolg trait to disguise himself as one of the guards, and he says basically, hey, everything's fine, don't worry about it. And so the guy says, okay, whatever, and so I'll go back to work. So he goes back to work, torturing two of the victims that they've captured in their cage. So then Bo comes down and says, hey, we could use your help. We've had some injuries up here because of the incursion. And so he unlocks the door and starts to make his way up. Once he gets to the top of the trapdoor, all of the Mighty Nine waiting up there instantly kill him and take him out. At this point, they then all go down into the cellar as a group, and that is where they find Neela's family. Her son and her mate are inside this first cage where this guy, this mercenary that they just killed, was torturing them. She heals them both up and manages to break them out of the cage by bending the bars apart with the aid of her mate after she heals him. They have a reunion, and then Bo tells Neela to go ahead and take her family safely away, and that the rest of the Mighty Nine, the 5 remaining, will be able to take care of the rest from here. So Neela thanks them and goes on her way. And that is the end of Sumalee's guest appearance as she walks off with her family. She promises to look after Clay's shrine for him. She promises that her family will go in his stead and look after that shrine as a sign of thanks. The remaining 5 of the Mighty Nine prepare to go deeper into the cellar in order to try and find their lost teammates and to kill the rest of the Iron Shepherds as per their agreement with Ophelia Mardoon, and that's where the episode ends. So next episode, they'll be going deeper into this cellar, this slave storage area where they torture and break people, and we'll find out whether or not Ford, Yasha, and Jester are actually still there, because we don't have any confirmation yet. We haven't seen them there. Next episode will not be Thursday. It'll actually be on Friday, and it'll be an hour earlier. And it's going to be their live show that they do. Ashley Birch will be with them as well, still playing Keg. So yeah, there won't be an episode this Thursday. Instead, it will be Friday, and it'll be an hour earlier, which will be 9 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.